From the heart of the city, straight to your radio. Honest, intimate, real. This is where love gets real and real gets deep. It's not just talk, it's the Love Talk Show. Are you ready? Then let's dive in right now.
A very good evening to all. Once again with the Love Talk Show. As every day, 10 p.m., the Love Talk Show comes through Liberty Radio to talk about matters of love life. And my name is Peter. My wife Andrea is always here with me. Good evening.
Hello everyone. Good evening. I hope you're doing well. I hope you had a great day. But if you didn't or if you haven't, well, prepare, get ready, because we are about to explore a very interesting topic. A topic that for me was a bit curious because I haven't seen this characteristic as something positive, not all the time, but I'm learning to understand that it can be, or it can have their type of beauty. I'm not going to say anymore.
Well, you are already saying it.
Well, there's a type of beauty in being vulnerable. That's what we are going to discuss today. For me, it was something new, not shocking, but new. Seeing the other side of this characteristic. I wouldn't say that it's quality, but we are going to dig deep into vulnerability and what it means when it comes to relationships.
You know, many they see it as a sign of weakness. Maybe they see it as someone who is not strong enough, but sometimes being vulnerable, it may have a good effect in your love life, in your relationship. Well, if you know someone who has a different mindset, who thinks in a different way, someone that sometimes you have been arguing with exactly because of this, tell them to come with us, to be with us in the Love Talk Show, because we want to talk about this topic.
Imagine you are a knight who has spent years building the thickest, heaviest suit of armor in the kingdom. You feel safe, but you also can't feel the breeze. You can't hug your children, and you are slowly suffocating under the weight of your own protection. Today on the Love Talk Show, we are asking you to do the bravest thing a warrior can do. We are talking about the beauty of taking off the helmet. We are exploring the beauty of being vulnerable and why it is the only way to be seen, known, and truly loved. In 2026, we are living in a world that often mistakes silence for strength and emotional walls for maturity. Many people believe that being vulnerable, admitting you're scared, asking for help, or showing your flaws is an act of weakness. But the truth is the exact opposite. Vulnerability is an act of supreme courage and humbleness. It is the bridge that allows you to receive the very help you've been praying for. When you are vulnerable, you stop pretending to be a finished product and start the journey of real growth. However, there is a catch. Vulnerability is a gift, and you must be careful who you give it to. Many people have closed shop emotionally because they were vulnerable with the wrong person in the past. Someone who used their heart as a weapon or mocked their tears. But the problem wasn't the vulnerability, it was the recipient. When you find the right person, vulnerability becomes the superglue of the relationship that creates a space of patience and deep understanding that no perfect facade can ever achieve. A powerful real-world example of this is the journey of Brené Brown, whose career was built on researching this very topic. She famously shared how her own struggle with vulnerability nearly broke her, but leaning into it saved her marriage and her mental health. We also see this in Prince Harry's story, in his memoir Spare, and subsequent interviews. He spoke about how years of armoring up and hiding his grief led to a total breakdown. It was only when he became vulnerable with the right support system and his wife Meghan that he was able to start the healing process. He moved from the wrong environment for his heart to one where his vulnerability was met with protection. The statistics for 2026 confirm that emotional openness is the heartbeat of a lasting bond. According to research by the Gottman Institute, couples who practice emotional bibs, small moments of vulnerability and reaching out, and have those bids met with empathy have an 86% success rate in their marriage. Conversely, a 2025 study shared by Psychology Today found that emotional stonewalling, the refusal to be vulnerable, is a leading cause of divorce, contributing to nearly 50% of marital collapses. When you refuse to be vulnerable, you aren't just protecting yourself from pain, you are also protecting yourself from love. So, I want to ask you today, who are you hiding from? Did a wrong person from your past convince you that your heart isn't safe to show? Do you realize that by never showing your wounds, you are preventing them from ever being healed? And are you ready to trade your heavy armor for a real connection? Stay tuned for the Love Talk Show. We are going to teach you how to vet the person you are with to see if they are worthy of your vulnerability. We'll show you how to start small and how to turn your greatest weaknesses into your relationship's greatest strength. The strongest thing you can ever be is honest.
This is the Love Talk Show on Liberty Radio.
And you can already have an idea by what you just saw or what you heard. You can have an idea of when you are vulnerable, or in certain situations that you are allowing yourself to be vulnerable. It can indeed help you in becoming a better person. It's important, I believe, Andrea, when we were talking about this topic, we even exposed, we said this: you cannot heal a wound if you are not exposing it. And it's being vulnerable. People, they have this idea that they need to be strong, and this idea comes to the one man or woman who decides to take the leadership of the family, the leadership of the relationship, and they think they have to provide, they have to have the answer to all questions, they have to find solution for all problems, they have to they have to control, to have the control over everything. And as humans, no matter how good we are, we all have our own limitations. And when we come to a person expressing or saying exactly this, the beauty of being vulnerable, it brings a very, I can see people, Andrea, asking them, but where is a beauty in being vulnerable? Mm-hmm. Exactly the same way that when a person is going to a doctor and is exposing the wounds and saying, look, this is what is happening and I need help to fix it because I cannot fix it by myself. It's exactly the same in a relationship.
And I was even thinking while we were talking that, and I've said this in the beginning of the program, that being vulnerable, or we speaking about vulnerability, it goes immediately to the idea that it's a weakness, or I'm vulnerable, for example, to certain diseases, or I'm vulnerable to be hurt because I've went through this and this, and now I'm weak, and now I'm open to people, and I've been too open, and then people can hurt me. But we are seeing here, and through the topic introduction, we are seeing here that vulnerability can actually be a quality.
Not with everyone, and not obviously in every area of our lives.
Especially because when vulnerability has to do with sincerity. Because imagine, now I'm married with you, and I'm hiding behind all my fears, my insecurities, because I was hurt in the past, and you try to help me, you really do, but because I think that I'm too vulnerable, or I was too vulnerable in the past, and that's why people took advantage on me, so I stopped being sincere. And we mix these two situations, and because of that, we can't receive help. Exactly the situation that you were talking about, the example that you were mentioning. If you go to the doctor, you are in need of something, but you don't show the wound, you don't show what your problem is, you don't tell him I'm having this pain or this problem, how can you be helped? So I can see, and well, I don't know if people that are listening to us agree with this, but I am comparing vulnerability with sincerity. Is not a bad way of vulnerability, in the sense of I'm open to everyone and everyone can come in, and I will be super honest with everyone, with all my feelings, and I don't care with whom, because I'm opening
because
up.
at the end of the day, this is not a door that is being open to everyone. That's not a door that, there's always a special room in your house. Usually people, they have a special room in the house where they call their place, and they don't show it to everyone. They don't take everyone there. It's something personal, something that belongs to them. It's something that is theirs. And obviously there are things that a person should not share with everyone. But when we bring this, and that's the main question, when we bring this into a relationship, do we see any beauty in being vulnerable? Do we see any beauty when a person is willing to share what they are feeling? Do we see a beauty when we see people sharing their own limitations? They are acknowledging that they need to work on something, that they are good workers or hard workers. They are turning the world upside down. They are doing whatever they can in order to fix a problem. They are rolling up their sleeves. They do whatever is in their power, but asking for a second opinion, in this case to the spouse, to the person that they live with, acknowledging that only with their own strength they are not capable, acknowledging that sometimes pride is having a toll on the marriage, and pride is limiting him or her to have a better relationship. Opening yourself and showing this wound and saying, listen, we have to heal this wound. This is the beauty, because this is exactly where we are going to find the healing.
And I was even thinking, being vulnerable makes you more merciful towards other people. And you know what, Peter, it even came to my mind those stories where people tell what they went through, and they talk about the way that they felt. For example, a person had a serious, big, huge accident that changed their one's life forever, and they come and tell us what they felt at the moment, what were their fears and the way that they overcame. But they don't just say, I went through this and I overcame. That's it. No, they show their vulnerability in a moment, but not in order for people to feel sorry for them or as playing the victim role, but saying, I was there, I felt the way that you might be feeling, but I overcame that. So it brings a sense of, I can relate If I'm going through the same, I can relate to what that person is saying. So the way that that person made herself or himself vulnerable was not in a bad way to expose to everyone their bad feelings or their emotions, but it came as a good thing, as a testimony. I was there, I felt the same way, but I was able to overcome.
But sometimes, if you are exposing to me a wound or something that is going on, maybe I wasn't going through the same. Maybe I wasn't aware of that wound or aware of that problem. Maybe I even don't know how to solve the problem. But just the fact of you exposing this to me and trusting in me to the point of exposing together as a couple, we will fight and we will try to find a way to solve this problem. And this is the beauty of being vulnerable. Well, let's hear what people are saying about this. The Love Talk Show went outside and asked exactly the same thing.
Straight from the people, straight to you. The word on the street.
Do you see vulnerability as weakness or emotional strength? Why?
Oh, I definitely believe it's emotional strength. I think being able to be vulnerable and being open with yourself and your partner, I think is really important to your well-being as a human being. To kind of, the more you close stuff in, the more you hold it in, eventually that's going to come out. And so I think being able to be vulnerable with yourself, I think is, whether you're with a partner or just by yourself, I think it's really important.
Good question. I certainly don't think it's a weakness. I think it can be seen as a strength. I guess it depends how somebody uses that vulnerability with the other person. They need to be honest about it, open up about it, and hopefully the other person in the relationship is understanding enough that they can appreciate that vulnerability.
You develop strong relationships and you can be like vulnerable with each other and see who the person is beyond like a front that they put on.
Pure power is not always the power that we need in life. Vulnerability shows more power than that.
I think it's a strength, and I think it's really infectious. Like when other people are vulnerable, it gives you space to open up as well and also be vulnerable. It's what lets you understand another person. I mean, you have to make yourself vulnerable before, you can find connection with another person, right? So half of it is opening up, and then half of it is someone else accepting you opening up. And it's very like a balancing act. Like some people don't know how to react when you're open and vulnerable, and they get like defensive, weird, whatever. Like that's not good. So it's like a two-way street.
Do you think people miss out on deeper connections because they're afraid to open up? Why?
Yes, for sure. I think you're only ever staying at the surface level in a relationship if you're not opening up. You're never going to be able to get to a deeper level of connection.
Absolutely. I think being able to open up with someone means that you can connect with someone on a deeper level and you can chat about things that you might not be able to chat to other people about. And so being able to have at least that one person, if not a couple of people in your life who you can really open up to, I think, it just really helps you.
If you show someone your most vulnerable self and you get rejected, that's like cuts really deep. Like I feel like it's easier to just put on a front.
I think that's mostly the problem. That's the problem with myself as well very often. It's hard to go from here to here. I think it's my biography kind of, because I moved a lot through my life. Like I migrated from my home country to another one, and I kind of encapsulated myself to not get damaged by others so much.
People miss out in really long relationships, like with their family, with their friends. Like, I don't just mean at the beginning of a relationship, people can't initially open up. I mean, even like 2, 3, 5, 10, 15 years, people go their whole lives without opening up, and it's such a shame.
Is it possible to be vulnerable and still maintain control of your life?
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't say to be vulnerable is to relinquish control, because you are choosing who to be vulnerable with and you are creating your circle of trust. You don't have to be vulnerable with everyone, and you can choose whether or not you feel like a person deserves that from you, and therefore you are kind of maintaining your own control as to who you allow that relationship with.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely don't see the two as being incompatible. I don't think that it's mutually exclusive. I think at the end of the day, we're all human beings. We all have vulnerabilities.
I fully think so. I think by controlling your vulnerability and taking control of your emotions and telling someone how you feel and your insecurities, that's a form of control. Like, you're not letting them control you, you're controlling them.
No, I think those two things don't go together. If you want to be vulnerable, you have to give away some control.
I don't think it's possible. I mean, you win some, you lose some. Like, it's always a risk, isn't it? But it's like a risk that you have to take at the end of the day. But like, yeah, no, you can't maintain control. That's the whole point of being vulnerable. I think it opens up like room to be misperceived, which is almost worse. Because if you open up you're vulnerable and someone doesn't see it the way that you see it, that can be really hurtful.
This is the Love Talk Show on Liberty Radio.
You know, when we first saw this topic, when Lady Anne brought us this topic, we did not realize immediately the extension of this topic and how much this could influence people's life, and not only today but in the future. And when we see that a person takes a step of courage and a step of trust, because being vulnerable means that I'm trusting you. I believe that you, as a person, or as my wife in this case, you will help me in overcoming whatever I'm going through. That you will not judge me, that you will not point your finger against me, but yes, you will show me where I can change, you will show me where my weaknesses are, but you will be there helping me in overcoming whatever may come on our way.
And again, it's very important for us to bring this up. It's not with everyone that you are going to open up. We are talking about a relationship. You are married with a person, or you are about to get married, or you are even dating, but you can tell. You can tell that that person is the person that you want to live with for the rest of your life. Of course, not colleagues or people that you consider friend, but you don't know in depth, of course. So it's very important for you to notice this. But one thing that I was even thinking, and we were commenting a while ago, was that when we show our real feelings, our true feelings, that's when we receive help. If you are that type of person, and maybe it's not your fault, maybe you grew up in a household where everyone was very quiet, where everyone would just address the situations when they were already a very serious matter, and they wouldn't
when the explosion already happened,
and the problem that couldn't be undone was already there. So maybe you grew up in an environment like this, and nowadays or today you really struggle to be honest, to be sincere with your partner, with the person that you fell in love with, and you don't want to be like that. And when you are listening to us in this moment, please pay attention to the seriousness of this matter. If you don't trust the person that you live with, or the person that you are in love with, to share your deepest thoughts, to share your intimate thoughts or feelings, who are you going to trust? With whom are you going to open up when you are in need of something? And it's the other way around also. If my husband isn't open with me or towards me, how can I feel secure or trust him to go to him when I am in need of something?
You remind me about a few times, actually, along these years, a few times it happened, but from both sides. But I recall a moment where, without saying the details, but we spoke, and I came to you exposing my wounds, and we had to deal with that as a couple together. We had to. It was a way not to be. It wasn't a moment not to be proud or to think that I can solve it by myself or with my own strength. It's a moment that we acknowledge that we are humans, and as humans, we are also vulnerable for other things. We also have our own limitations. And as usual we say, the beauty of a couple is that we can be there for each other We are not partners in crime, obviously. We are not on the same page when something wrong comes up, because if something wrong comes up, as a partner, as a spouse, we help ourselves in fixing, in paying the price of whatever needs to be paid and fix it. But at the same time, we are there to grow together, to take care of each other. And being vulnerable is exactly this. We are allowing this person to help us. I'm not underestimating me, and the same with my wife. I'm not placing my life in her hands, saying, she's the reason of my life and without her I don't live. No.
This happened, so fix me.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not blaming or placing everything on her hands. I'm saying that there are moments, and yes, where you have to say, listen, I have, keeping on using the wound, I have a wound here, I've been trying to fix it, but I couldn't. And then as a couple, they will be able to find the solution.
And something that I
or
believe,
at least to fight together against it.
and something that I believe it's also worth mentioning here. For example, my husband is giving the example of one particular moment where he came to me, and my moments are almost every day because I'm a woman and I need to express myself. I have that need, and it's even yesterday we were commenting with girlfriends, and I was saying that one of the ways for me to overcome inner situations, things that I'm going through, is by talking. I'm too vulnerable. I'm exposing myself now. But one of the ways that I have to overcome things that are within is talking. Not all the time it works, because people are not God, and we can't replace God by people. People are limited as we are. But there are certain moments that we really need to share and to say what's going on, because that's the way, that's the solution, and the other person will not guess what's going on in our mind. But I was saying, for me, it's easy to expose, to become vulnerable in regards to my husband, regarding my husband and our relationship. But you can't expect the same thing of a man, because men are different.
Men or women, because there are people, they have this.
They have this, but mainly men. They don't talk about everything. They don't overshare. But if the husband or the person that you fell in love with your partner, is that type of person that they don't overshare, but when the moment comes that they need to ask for help, they come, not a problem. I was giving the example of my husband. He's not a person that overshares and talks about everything every single day. And that's okay, because it would be a lot, because I talk a lot. Imagine if he was the same. We are different personalities, and that's not a problem. Like pieces of the puzzle, we come together and it's perfect at the end. But we have the balance. Men, they don't talk too much, but they should talk when they need. And if you have that, so be thankful, because that's a very good thing.
So I think it's time for you to eliminate this fear of rejection, this fear of sometimes thinking is too much, or this how can I say, syndrome of being a perfectionist and everything needs to be perfect, and I cannot show my weakness. Because at the end of the day, you are a human and you are married with a woman or with a man, with a person that you love, and both you can help each other and taking steps towards to what you want to achieve.
Letting go of every single dream, I lay each one down at your feet. Every moment of my wandering never changes what you see. I've tried to win this war, I confess. My hands are weary, I need your rest. Mighty warrior, king of the fight. No matter what I face, you're by my side. When you don't move the mountains, I what tomorrow brings. There's not a day ahead you have not seen. So in all things, be my life and bread. I want what you want, Lord, and nothing less. When you don't move the mountains, I'm needing you to move. When you don't part the waters, I wish I could walk through. When you don't give the answers, as I cry out to you, I will trust, I will trust, I will trust in you. I will trust in you. You are my strength and comfort. You are my steady hand. You are my firm foundation, the rock on which I stand. Your ways are always higher. Your plans are always good. There's not a place where I'll go you've not already stood. When you don't move the mountains, I'm needing you to move. When you don't part the waters, I wish I could walk through. When you don't give the answers, as I cry out to you, I will trust, I will trust, I will trust in you. I will trust in you. I will trust in you. I will trust in you.
This is the Love Talk Show on Liberty Radio.
Well, we can understand, although we have a theme and we were a topic talking about the beauty of being vulnerable, but I can imagine that there are those who at this very moment, Andrea, are listening to us, and they have been taken by fears, by insecurities. They have been seen by friends and family members as someone who is extremely strong, someone who turns around and put the world upside down if it's necessary to find a solution for in the workplace, for the family, whatever. But from within, we never know how a person is. From inside, we can never see what the person is going through. Sometimes there are signs, there are things people do in certain kinds of behavior, but we don't see and we do not know exactly 100% what goes on inside of a person's life. And this is where sometimes a person starts taking wrong choices, wrong decisions, and decisions that tomorrow will bring more suffering and more disappointments. Maybe there are those who are already facing them, because we spoke about being vulnerable, and this person opened up to someone who betrayed them, someone who took advantage on them, someone who, used this person, man or woman, it doesn't matter, and then just left them the way they were, and not only living, but it's now inside of them a huge wound. They don't know how to deal with it.
So that's why it's so important for once to be honest and to be sincere, first of all, with themselves, with ourselves. Because usually we mention this point. If we acknowledge our real situation, our true state, how we are at that moment, it's easier to find a solution, or at least to try and seek a way out. If we acknowledge, no, I have been going through all of this, but I don't want to stay like this. There's a huge difference, right, Peter?
Yes,
I went through this, but I don't want to remain like this or to go through this again. So that's when we start making different decisions and we start walk towards transformation. And that's what happens here every day when we share the testimonies.
Well,
here.
talking about the testimony, we have Sarah. Sarah wants to share with us what happened. Well, let's all pay attention what Sarah has to let us know.
I remember when I was younger, around the age of 7, 8, and I was sexually abused by both females and males. I was just a mess internally. It put so much anger in me, and just as a result, I became very suicidal. I didn't think I was good enough, and that's how everything started. From being sexually abused, this led me to be really angry, but it also led me to feel like there was nothing special about me. I would be mistreated at home. I'll be picked on by my siblings. I'll be told, you're too fat, you need to lose weight. And then when I get into school from reception, because I had an issue with my leg, I remember one time everyone in my whole class were all around me and they were just calling me names. From a young age, I knew, okay, you're just hated, you're not good enough. You go through abuse and the next minute you're getting bullied. I was called Hulk, I was called Beast. It just made me feel like I was ugly. This was around 7 to 8 years old. And I remember going from the age of 8 on till when I was in year 9, I was still getting picked on, I was still getting bullied. I didn't have much friends. So I would come home and I'd be silent, and then I would just have to be the big sister that I was to my other younger siblings. So it was always help other people, look after other people, but what about me? Even just this as well, it added to the anger, because I just feel like I'm being bullied, I've been sexually abused in the past, there's other people that are trying to hurt me as well. Why should I even care? Why should I even bother? It just felt like everything was a mistake. I just didn't think I deserved to be alive. And I think that's what led me to become suicidal, along with everything that I went through. I ended up getting counselling because I told the teacher I went through abuse when I was younger. And when learning mentors will try to speak to me, count to 10 when you're feeling angry. And I was just thinking, are you serious? Counting to 10. And I would even count to 10 and it would just make me even black out. My anger was really bad. I remember one time someone said something to me and we were in a park near Clapham. I literally started punching metal and my hands were not bleeding and I didn't care. I would black out in secondary school as well. I'll never forget there was a moment where I was told that I punched a window and I was like, I didn't do that. And everyone's like, Sarah, we saw you. You punched the window. I said, no, I didn't. I even remember seeing the window and it was bad. I just thought, okay, Sarah, if you don't change your anger, you're gonna end up probably hurting someone or hurting yourself. Even there was moments when I wasn't angry, but I would black out. So I'll never forget, I was walking to get onto the bus and I literally blacked out and I was like, this is dangerous. Because it's like, even though I'm getting on a bus, if something else happens, I do not have control. So I was invited to the Universal Church during the time I was in secondary school. I heard about it through friends. I just said, you know what, I want to find a way to come here. That's what I did. I found a way to come. And I'll never forget, there was a meeting. Something that said, if you can't control your anger, you're weak. And I was thinking, you don't know me, but you're telling me I'm weak. I heard that message. I was just like, these people, I'm going to test them. I want to see if it's real. Generally, I saw people that were actually showing me love and I was just like, okay, this is real. So it got to a point where I was coming and then I started to just think, you know what, Sarah, when are you actually going to throw yourself into God? So what are you waiting for? And there was a service and it was like, I think one of the pastors was preaching, you're going to get sifted like wheat. And I was just like, okay, don't fully understand what you're saying. I went home and I made a prayer. I said, God, it's now or never. I was in the wrong for so many things, but I started to feel pain from the inside, a pain that I never felt. Even when I went through all what I went through, I couldn't stop feeling this pain. And I was like, God, I can't take this away from me. So it's either now you give me your Holy Spirit or you take me out of this earth. So there was a purpose that we were doing. And I just said to God, what do you want from me? I'm not good at seeking. I'm not good with words. God was like, you doing what I tell you to do is you show me that you're seeking me. To receive the Holy Spirit, what I did was I literally just said to God, I'm going to obey your direction, let go of the fear of rejection. I said, okay, God, how am I going to do that? So I went through the past, present, and up to that point, I was speaking to God. Sometimes 2 hours long. I was going through everything. I was pouring out to God. Also, another thing that I was doing, I attended the girls' meeting. I hated that meeting with a passion. But I said to God, God, if this is what you want, I'm going to do it. I would just literally apologized to everyone that I offended. And I also just said to God, I'm going to believe. Because I was a person I was very doubtful. So I found it hard to just accept what was being said. So after I let go of everything internally, I was able to receive the Holy Spirit. I was able to forgive those who hurt me. I was able to forgive myself. And I was also able just to believe in myself, which I didn't think I could do. After receiving the Holy Spirit, I think the main thing that for me that changed was I was a person that I was no longer angry. I learned how to control myself through the Holy Spirit. I also was a person that I didn't have goals. I didn't know where I wanted to be. But through the Holy Spirit, I'm able to know where I'm going. I also was able to graduate, which I didn't think I could. I'm also working. My relationship with my family is so much better than it was before we couldn't speak. Life isn't easy, but through the Holy Spirit, I'm able to know that everything will be okay, and God guides me on how to fight. So I don't allow myself to get stressed out anymore. Through God, I know all things are possible, and that is what keeps me going.
This is the Love Talk Show on Liberty Radio.
It's so good when we hear someone saying this person was able to overcome. It's good to know in the world that we face so much negativity and so many people suffering and not finding solutions, and catastrophes and wars and sicknesses and addictions, and sometimes families falling apart, marriages not going well, people that are broken from within. And it's very good when we hear someone saying, I was able to turn this situation around. And Sarah is one of them. Sarah could give the excuse, what they've done with me. Look what they've done with me. Look how miserable my life was and is today because of what these people has done. And then obviously with the excuse of what happened, we end up doing even worse things than were done against us. And unfortunately, Sarah's real story, it has a little bit to do with all of this. The good part is Sarah overcame. Mm-hmm. Sarah today is different. Sarah could turn things around. And this is the light at the end of the tunnel, Andrea, because if there's anyone listening to us at this very moment, they can understand this. Maybe they are Sarah. Maybe they have a different problem from Sarah. It doesn't matter. What matters and what we want to share is there's a light at the end of the tunnel. It means that if they see things from a different perspective, if a person is able to take the right steps, if the person receives the right guidance, they will be able to fight for a better life and to see things getting better.
And listening to Sarah's example and testimony is very amazing, because sometimes people say, oh, don't overshare, or don't say what you went through, because it will make you feel weak again. It will remind you about everything that you went through. No, it's totally the opposite, because Sarah is able to come here and share with us what she went through, and the way that she overcame will strengthen those that it might be at this very moment going through a situation like the one she faced.
She's not there saying, well, this is what I went through, so now let's go and we have to punch them all and we have to kill them all and we have to torment them and we have to do against them what they've done against me. No, she's
it's
just...
not anarchy.
Yeah, she's just saying how damaged she was from within, and how in her personal life she was able to change it.
And that's the amazing part of it, and all the testimonies that we listen to here every single day. And Sarah, she gave a leap of faith, and she came and she participated for sure in one of the meetings that we run in the UCKG, and one of those meetings is the Thursday evening service, that is the Love Therapy.
We just had one.
Yes. And here in Finsbury Park, for example, you can meet us, you can join us here every Thursday, 8 p.m., 232 Seven Sisters Road in Finsbury Park, very close to Finsbury Park train station. But Peter, it's very important also to mention, if this person is listening to us and she listened to this program and it's not a day or a time that she's available to come immediately to get to know us and to meet us here, so she can call. You can call at this very moment to the number that is 24/7, a 24/7 helpline, 020-7686-6000. This is our phone number. You can call whenever you have time and whenever you are in need of.
So you already know help is at hand.
How was the love therapy for you tonight? What stood out the most?
I think for me, it was understanding how I have to see myself on the inside, essentially with, not like holding on to things of the past, things that have, like from past relationships or things that have, or like even from rejection from like family members or anything like that. Not essentially holding on to these things because if I want to move forward, if I want God to change me on the inside, then I have to give these things to Him.
And when you attend the love therapy here in Finsbury Park, I don't know if you remember your first time, but what's the atmosphere like for someone that comes?
I would say that it's somewhere where you can feel at peace and you can feel comfortable. That's the most thing, because I would say when I first came, I was quite scared and I was quite afraid because I was thinking, oh, what's everyone going to think of me? But when you start to realize, okay, this is not about what other people see, it's more so about it's just between me and God, then you start to sit down and you start to hear God's voice more the more you come.
So would you recommend love therapy to the person that's listening to this right now?
Most definitely I would.
Want to experience the love therapy for yourself? Join us every Thursday at 8 p.m. at 232 Seven Sisters Road, Finsbury Park. You'll be inspired.
This is the Love Talk Show on Liberty Radio. Real stories, real dilemmas, real solutions. Only on the Dear Love Talk Show.
Is it healthier to be single than to stay in a relationship that consistently causes stress, anxiety, or emotional exhaustion?
It's never healthy to remain in a relationship that causes consistently stress, anxiety, or emotional exhaustion. But of course, we would need to talk to you in person to understand what's going on, if you are married, if you are dating, if you are about to get married. So it's never healthy. But it's not also healthy to consider, okay, let's just remain single forever because that's the way. And then we start judging men and women that for a reason, one or another reason, hurted us, and because we are suffering, we are in pain, and we start judging everyone the same way. And that's not healthy for yourself also. So it becomes a snowball effect, and we start judging, and we become very insecure, very fearful, and even distressed because of all of this that is going on. So
I think, Andrea, what in this case, what the person needs to see is where the source of all these stress, anxieties, and this exhaustion is coming from. Maybe you are questioning here something, but maybe it's your behavior, it's your habits, it's the way you are dealing with the problems that is causing all these problems. So our advice is you need to seek for help to, not help because you are a bad person, but help in a sense of controlling your emotions, because either you are the source of these problems or not, you are being affected by them. And
Already.
this is affecting you from within. So you need to know how to deal with it and to overcome. That's why the help center is open every single day, and you can come whenever you want. You can pop in and talk to one of our advisors. Well, Andrea, our participation is now reaching the end. The Love Talk Show comes back tomorrow at 10 p.m. And to you, whenever you want, you can talk to us, you can give us a call, and for more information, you can go uckg.org. May God bless you all. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
When I walk through deep waters, I refuge in the storm. Through these trials, you've always been faithful. You bring healing to my soul. I am not alone. I am not alone. You will go before me. You will never leave me. I am not alone. No, I am not alone. You will go before me. You will never leave me. I am not alone. I am not alone. You will go before me. You will never leave me.
That's a wrap on today's Love Talk Show, where every conversation brings you closer to intelligent love. We'll be back soon with more love, more truth, and more talk. Until next time, keep practicing intelligent love.